year, ever since 2019, the president of Ghana invited Black Americans or Afro Americans to be coming to Ghana. It's becoming a festival. It's becoming like a ritual that every other year, especially in December, you get people coming to Africa, coming to Ghana and other parts closer, nearby, or far away from Ghana.
I'm good. How about you?
I'm wonderful. No, we're not wonderful. We're being delayed here at the border, and they're having us come in there. I became a Ghanaian citizen, and I got my ECOWAS card. Now, what are they doing?
Right.
They're not letting us across.
I don't even know, because even me, they're holding me. I'm serious. They're holding me.
How is that possible?
It's possible. They are holding what am I?
To celebrate, feeling the need to come home and getting welcomed. People like myself, people like Wodemai, and other people also every day talking about it, advocating for the world to now focus more, especially Black people, wherever you are, to pay much attention to Ghana or Africa as a whole. And then they'll come, and there still hasn't been any measure or any action whatsoever taken. They get to the border, this happens again. It's not going to last, especially when you live in such a developed society. Like America has 50 states, if not more now. And I could just pick my passport or my government ID, which is my driver's license, and go anywhere into any of the 50 states. All I need to do is just show it, and they're like, you have a nice day. If it's legit, if it's not expired, if it's not illegal, or if it's not illegal or documented, they will allow me to go wherever I want to go. That leads me to my next thought or question. Do you agree to Africans back in Africa, for example, what the president of Ghana is doing? Do you agree, or do you support that Black people that wish to move to Ghana to actually move to Ghana?
I totally agree with it. And by the way, not Ghana only, to every part of Africa, as far as I'm concerned, because that is their heritage. We have to remember what happened to the Africans or the Blacks in the diaspora, at least the ancestors, was a carnage, was terrible, was not humanity at all. It should never have happened, and there's a blame to go on both sides. Unfortunately, our elders back then, some of them were corrupt, like some of our leaders right now are so corrupt, and that needs to be addressed. And they're not thinking about the future or posterity. They're not visionaries at all. Every other, I know I'm going to answer your question, but I want to also talk about what is bothering me about some of our leaders, because we see the same thing happening again, even at this point. Taking Africans out of Africa to a different land that is not theirs and enslaving them. That happened many hundred years ago. Well, it's still happening right now. Why is it still happening right now? To me, as far as I'm concerned, there's another rush for Africa again, like it happened several hundred years ago. I'm not sure if I should name countries, but at this point, what are our leaders doing? I'm not against innovation at all. I am for innovation. But when it comes to really enslaving our people, misusing our people, not running the country for community, in ethical and right, and not using the resources correctly, then I think that we've got a problem like we had in many generations. All right. So I think that needs corruptions and that way of looking at life by the leaders, by the bad leaders, that needs to be addressed. And I'm still waiting. Uh, like the movie that Angela Bassett made a long time ago, Waiting to Exhale. I'm still waiting to exhale, to have a sigh of relief that, aha, now we got a good leader leading our countries, our continent in the right direction. Um, I'm still waiting for that. Um, so to answer your question, I'm still going to come back to my venting because it's and I'm glad that this is an opportunity. I'm the son of the land. I'm an African by heart, even though I've adopted another country now. But I have two countries at this point. One is Nigeria, one is America, right? Nigeria is still in my heart, and it bothers me because that is my fatherland, and my people are still suffering. And we've read so much about history and the same things, and even though it comes in a different shade, it's still the same thing. And that is the unfortunate part as of Africans or Black people in diaspora coming back. So without addressing that, so okay, to answer your question, I am for Africans in diaspora or Blacks in diaspora coming back home. I am totally. I think we should, not that I think, I believe we should encourage that. But my only challenge, my only problem is the following, right? The mentality of our leaders and our people have to change, right? We need good governance, right, for it to work. We're just talking about what Maya did, right, going across the border, and then showing the video of the African American, trying to cross from,
And
going
nothing
from one
happened
country
yet.
to the next country and going through all that ordeal of bribery and being held at the border because for frivolous reasons, right? Without that being addressed, things like that being addressed, the corruption being addressed. So, how long will it last? Or how successful will it be for us to encourage them to come, to their, to, yeah, because
Right.
it,
If they're coming back to
yeah,
you're in America, you're getting killed, you're getting racial reactions, you're getting stopped by the cops, you're getting molested everywhere you turn, and someone came out of nowhere in Africa and said, "Hey,
yeah,
your ancestors were from here. Maybe it's time to turn back and come home." And then you finally get interested, and you say, "Okay, well, I'm gonna give it a shot," right? Just like my last guest, I had Erica James on the show, and she was just saying, she's like, you don't have to decide to go live in Africa, just visit, right? That's all everybody's saying right now. Okay, fine. I'm an African American. I'm going to Ghana. I'm going to Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Sudan, wherever in Africa, and I go and I experience this. I wouldn't really like be convinced enough to come back after I leave after the first visit. So I felt like we as Africans, we as um black people on the other side of the world, on the African continent, we should do better. We can't do better, and in so doing, it will actually be pleasant for the other people to come in. Now, with that being said, what is the advantage?
absolutely. There are a lot of advantages, but I can overstate this. One advantage for the African or blacks in the diaspora is for them to know that they have a heritage. What has happened a long time ago um, happened because of uh, bad leadership. It also happened because some of our people were stolen, right? They were taken out of Africa, not willingly. So it's bad. It's bad, bad, bad. And that, as far as I know, Africans or Black people in diaspora are the only groups of people that have been severed from their own heritage, right? Um, the French, they have France to go back to, right? English have England to go back to, right? Um, the Asians have their land to go back to, right? So what about the blacks and the Africans in diaspora? So that is one advantage for them to know that they have a heritage and there is a power and a place to go. And that even if they do not live there, the identity to be able to identify. I know it's they have been removed from their origin because they have been, I mean, how many years have passed since slavery has been abolished? All since the slaves Africans were taken to slavery, hundreds of years, right? But with the idea of having an identity to your root, there is something about it. And then here's the other thing. I would like to encourage um, every African, every Black in the diaspora, do an ancestry DNA, right? Try to figure out exactly what region you're from. Or even if you don't want to do that for different reason, right? Choose a place. It doesn't matter. Choose a place in Africa, kind of say, you know what? I like this place. Or relate to a place and kind of say, I'm going to go and visit. I want to go and learn. I want to learn about this people, right? And I want to teach, the younger generation that are coming, so that at least when they're walking, they can walk with their head high like kings and queens and prince and princess, right? Knowing that they have a heritage, they have a place that they can call their home, even if they're not going to be staying there. Advantage to Africans that are living currently there is, if I'm the president of Nigeria, I don't know, or any African country, here's a simple idea that I'm thinking. I don't know if they're doing it already. Every summer, I'm going to set up like a commission that invites every expert, every field that's in the diaspora to come home. Literally, I will literally do that. I will be willing to sort of say, we need to set up a pot of money to invite engineers, right? Uh, Doctors, mathematicians, computer scientists, right? All the best minds that are out there in the diaspora, and there's so many of us. All you have to do is look at the data about the Africans that are actually in the United States or in England or any other part of the world. So you invite them and you have like a conference of experts on whatever problems that you really want to address. You can do that every single year, right? Have an agenda, invite them on. This is a great way, and even establish a way whereby you can hire. Now technology has made it easy. Go back to your initial question. But one of the benefits that can also be for Africans, I'm so sorry, I went on my tangent earlier about ideas if I was a leader, what I would do. But one of the benefits that it could be is the economy benefit. So bringing that dollar from the United States and investing it in the land, That goes a long way because look, ask every African that go to Africa, right? They bring dollars.
Know that even in Africa, we actually really in technology inclined. So, with that being said, that is why we have to present ourselves, and that is why part of the reason why I'm actually doing this show, or that's why the existence of this channel, to have a way to educate. Most importantly, my highlight or my interest is highly on the African Americans that have actually witnessed themselves going to Africa, or somewhere in Africa, and actually witness themselves, and so they can testify. Because for example, growing up or living in America, coming up years back, you can be someone, and then they'll be surprised, or almost to the point that they want to challenge you if you try to tell them there's a publicist in Africa, there's someone that could do a video editing, there's a network engineer in Nigeria. It's hard for them to believe it because that's how the media and the rest of the world have made it to look like, you know. So that is part of why, or that's, I think that's part of the problem too, because like I said, that's why I intentionally asked that question. Why would I not look for someone here locally in America and just pay the $1,000? Why would I think that there's even someone in Africa that knows how to do exactly what I'm paying $1,000 for, and they're probably gonna charge me like $200? So the awareness is what is necessary, and that's what has been started. That's what the initiative that the presidents and most African leaders are taking right now, embracing the African Americans or the Caribbeans, any person black around the globe. We are welcoming you, come to Ghana and or come to Africa as a whole. But then again, it still falls back on the same issue that what the Maya presented. They come over there, you're not prepared, you're not treating them right. You're kind of like almost like trying to cheat these people and cheating
Bad leadership.
yourself.
Yeah. Bad leadership goes back to bad leadership because one of the things that leaders needs to be they need to be thinking about. Not all of them are bad, but we need visionary leaders, and we need new generation types of leaders. Not the I respect my elders, but I think a leader that is not a visionary should not be a leader at all. Uh, we need Look, one of the things that Africa has right now, especially Nigeria, and I don't know about Ghana, but I'm pretty sure it's the same thing in Ghana. One of the resources that it has is a lot of young people, right? But look, when you, yeah, but where are the jobs, right? The infrastructure is so bad. You have not planned. I mean, for the younger generation. They're just sitting down there. They go to college, they go to universities, I mean polytechnics, right? And they come out and they have no jobs. Does that explain why the crime is so high, right? And even the law enforcement, you don't pay them, rightly. So does that explain why some that are in law enforcement have turned to criminality? Uh, I will never, I will never forget. The last time I traveled to Nigeria, going from one village to the next on the road, I mean, there were all these roadblocks. I understand there are a lot of criminals out there, but one thing that I do not understand is why do I have to be paying the law enforcement in order for me to pass from one, checkpoint to the next checkpoint? Right? Why do I have to pay the people at the airport that are supposed, the custom officers, in order for me to be able to pass through? Why do my in-laws have that do not have the Nigerian that are not Nigerians have to be paying a lot of money before they can come in. Those things are extremely discouraging. And and that is why we don't need the type of leaders that still stuck really in the back. We need leaders that are visionary, that are already thinking ahead, that are thinking about the youth, right? The youth are the future. Uh, Put them to work, right? And I'm in STEM. Here's the thing that I will be thinking about. What kind of industries or can I start planning forward so that, let's say, I know we're going to be graduating a lot of engineers, right? I know we're going to be graduating a lot of technologists, right? I know that. I know we're going to be graduating a lot of scientists, right? A lot of mathematicians, right? And other disciplines, okay? So, what are the plans for these people once they graduate? Uh, why also do we have to be so dependent on other countries? It does not. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. And then here's the last point I'm to make. In terms of roles, right? You want investment. Now I'm going on my own little. I'm vexing or I'm vetting right now. So you want so you want the country. You want investment in the country. We're encouraging Africans and blacks in the diaspora to come, and and there's power to that. Imagine if LeBron James or Michael Jordan, right? These people are wealthy. These are celebrities deciding that they want to come to any African country to come and invest, right? These people are savvy investors, right? They're Africans. They're blacks in diaspora, right? But imagine if they were to come and they want to set up an industry. One of the first things that they'll be thinking about is one, security. Two, it's what about the roads, right? Right. Uh, so what about energy, lights? What's up with this? You know, there's no 24 hours light. I mean, what do you do without 24-hour light? I mean, 24/7. Right? You need light in order to carry out commerce, right? And we all know also that now here's another innovation that have just taken place: the AI. We're in the age of AI, and we all know how Africans we love our cell phones and technology and all that. Oh my God, I'm going to scream out of my head. I'm going to scream. Why have not any one of these African countries ever planned to capitalize on? You know that young people are into technology. All you have to do is just look around. Why aren't you setting up the infrastructure so that when innovation comes up, right, you are right there? So now we have to do a catch up, literally. So these are the things that I think that you know I've forgotten the
You
question
actually
really
answered it.
because I was
So
vetting
yeah,
the
you
vetting.
answered. Well, thank you
Uh,
for that, Dr. Ayo. So wrapping up here in a bit, I have three last questions for you, and briefly, I think it's just going to be a straight up response that I normally do. What do you have to tell the African youth? That's the number one question. What do you have to tell the African youth? Number two, I'm just going to ask you so you could just answer it in serious. What do you have? Do you have anything to tell the Afro Americans? We've been advocating for this for a while now, and still see some pushbacks. There are people that still think that they're not African, they're not related to us at all, even though they look just like me, which is okay. Everybody has the right to believe what they want to believe. But do you have anything to say to that? And then finally, if there was a law that you could change or you could and a manifest to apply to everybody in the world.
To start with the Africans and blacks in the diaspora, I want to encourage you. I want to say that you have a heritage, right? Um, I just want you to know that. Um, and I think there is a power in claiming your heritage. One of the things that you can do, even if you don't go and live in Africa, um, the likelihood, for example, take me as an example, the likelihood of going to live in Africa, I don't think that's going to happen, right? Because my livelihood is here in the United States, but I still have people that I'm connected to in Africa that I care about, that I still take care of, right? So, but just knowing that you have a heritage and claiming it, one way that you can claim it is visit or research or contribute, whatever you can. I'm not talking in terms of money because in every society there are people that are ready to take advantage of people. Find something that you're passionate about. Um, you give money anyway. You give your talents to different things. So what about Africa? Build your fatherland, even though they have done you wrong. Forgive, just connect. It's time. Every other community is growing. What about our own community? We're one people. We're one people. Um, and for the youth, I, I know, like in Nigeria, I know you want
Shout
an
out to the
election.
people. Yep.
Uh, Recently, in Nigeria, yeah, recently Nigeria just had an election, and what I understood was the younger people wanted a younger generation. I would like to encourage you not to give up. Um, Please, everything that you do has to be peaceful, right? But you have to continue to work towards the change. As long as you persevere, eventually, you will elect the right young visionary leader. Um, I'd like to encourage you, right, to continue to innovate. Um, don't be stagnant. Don't be discouraged. I know it's really hard. I mean, what do you have to lose? I mean, if you focus on negative, negative will always come. But if you take that negative and try to repurpose it towards positive, imagine you may surprise yourself the outcome of that. And your last question. So yeah, that's actually a very easy one. I am pretty big when it comes to women empowerment. It is, let me tell you, in my family, my father is a great man. He was an honorable man. And let me give you an example. When I finished from high school in Nigeria, always wanted to go to university. But my father was in the law enforcement, was a policeman. My grade in WIAC, the West African Examination Certificate, was not great. It was not competitive. So I wanted my father to go and bribe the university official, and my father refused. My father literally refused, and I was angry at my father. Right? I was angry at my father because everybody else around me, I know what their fathers did, but my father didn't do it. He didn't do it. But my father and my mother divorced. because my mother has always been interested in education. And one of the things that caused their separation was the following. My father wanted my mother to be in the house, to be a housewife, but she's always wanted to be educated. She's always wanted education. Because once she became an orphan a long time ago, what happened was the missionary, thanks to the missionary, they exposed her to education. She was a princess. Her father died when she was young, so did her mother. She was from a royal family back then. I am from a village called Ayere, right? Ayere is in Ilorin, right? Now it is under Kogi local government. But my mother, who was married to my father at a young age, she was she was the first orphan, the first child, a girl child that was ever been married at 12 years old.
She
Because
was
of what
young.
has been young age, right? So, but because of what has been instilled in her, she was passionate about education. So she pursued that. And that gave her a certain empowerment. And my father didn't like that. But my mother, God's willing, okay, there's a place where this story is going. By the grace of God, she had the opportunity to come to the United States to come and study. And that's how she met my stepfather, who was a kind man, who decided to adopt us, brought us under his umbrella. But my mother's vision, using education as a way to empower herself and her children, right, was the most blessed thing I've ever had. Without her being educated, something that some people will say, oh, Western education is bad and all that, it's only just going to make women wise. Look at me today. I am a doctor, a PhD, for God's sake. Changed my life.
Yep.
But imagine my life will never be the same. Never, ever, and ever. That has changed my life. But imagine the ability, the empowerment of women all across the world. But imagine if my father was a visionary and allowed my mother to pursue higher education in Nigeria. Imagine what a powerhouse both of them could have been. In many instances, as a matter of fact, because of my mother's education, she has advocated for him in many instances that I cannot really repeat. So that is why I would like to say, if there's one thing that I'd like to encourage, not enforce, but I would like to appeal to all men, to all people in the world, is the following. Encourage your young girls, right, to go to school, empower them with what will make them to be independent so that they can be the best of themselves. Because at the end of the day, it really will make us be the best of ourselves. But when we siphon that, when we suffocate that, it's bad for everybody. Look at what happened to me because my mother was empowered because she pursued higher education, right? Look at my life. And look at the life of those that I'm trying to also pass those benefits to, empowered, right? Um, I've always wanted to build a hospital in my village. That was my dream as a child. But now I became an educator. God's willed it. If I became a doctor, guess what? A medical doctor, probably that is my own pride or whatever. But now I'm in the business of building what? Minds. Look at the minds, the lives that I have changed, that I have touched to many, many generations that I will never even meet or know. So this is the power of a woman. When you allow the woman to be empowered, the girls to be empowered, it benefits everybody in a way that you cannot even imagine. So I hope I answered your question.
Dr. Ayo, woman empowerment. And with this, I would like to thank you for gracing Africa Chat Show. Well, folks, you guys heard it all. You've been watching and listening to Africa Chat Show. Today we had Dr. Ayo Olufade. He's originally from Nigeria. Part of the reason why I was actually most excited to get him to come actually on this episode. So, because he has a background just like myself or similar to myself. He was born in Nigeria in the West Africa and then relocated here with his family, similar to my background. So we kind of have similar understanding of how things are working and how things are going back home and over here. So there you guys have it. If you like this episode, tell somebody about this channel, like it, share it, and please comment. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think about women empowerment. Let us know what you think about going back home, the whole idea. Would you like to go back home if you're an African American and do you live in America? Where do you live? Let us know all of that in the comments. And like always, I always try my best to respond to everybody. And again, I'm signing off here. As always, this is Africa Chat.